This is the last video where I'm going to split it up just so that they're in different techniques. So this is the perfect cubes technique. After I teach you this last technique, we are going to go into factoring and just double checking that you understand how to do them when they're all mixed around, because they're not all going to be in this order. Okay, so perfect cubes uses a special formula. So you'll notice it can be sum or difference of perfect cubes. It is a two-term factoring method, and there's different formulas, so depending on if it's subtraction or addition. And I'll make some notes of that as we go. One thing I want you to notice is that the original sign is the first sign you use, and then you switch the sign. Notice how they're opposite of the original sign. And then the last sign is always positive, regardless of which method you are using. Okay. So this first problem follows under this a cubed minus b cubed. You really just have to figure out what your a and your b would be. So the a in this case would be x, because that's what's being cubed. Your b value is whatever the cube root of 8 is. So in this case, 2, because 2 to the third gives you 8. And then you just plug it into the formula. So we've got x for our a value minus 2, because you keep the same sign. Then you square the a value. Maybe I should write that under. So we've got a minus b, so a squared plus ab plus b squared. So then we're doing our x squared, and then a times b is just these two multiplied together, so that's 2x. X times 2 is 2x. And then plus whatever b is squared, so 2 squared is 4. Done. And that is your final answer. Once you've factored it, the nice thing about these ones is the quadratics at the very end actually do not factor any further. So once you have tried factoring or used the formula, you're just completely done. Now, for fun, I'm going to actually change this to a plus rather than to the minus problem, just so we use the other formula. And I want you to notice that this problem is not a perfect cube as it is, because that's x to the 4th, but it needs to be to the 3rd power, or any multiple of 3. What you're going to notice, though, is both terms have an x, so that means we should be taking out our greatest common factor, which is not something I've hit a lot yet, but on the last video I will. So I'm going to factor out an x. You get 27x to the 3rd plus 125, which then both of these terms are perfect cubes. So your a value would just be whatever number to the 3rd power will give you 27, so that's 3x. And then 125, so 5 to the 3rd gives you 125, so that's going to be our b value. And, I should kind of keep that formula there. So it's a plus b, so it's going to be, and keep the greatest common factor there, so 3x plus 5, with that x in front. And then it's your a squared. Now careful with this. A lot of people will just write 3x squared, but you're squaring both values here. So it's 9x squared, because 3 times 3 is 9. Then minus, because you switch the sign. So same difference, so minus, and you multiply these together. So 3x times 5 is 15x. And then you add your b squared. So 5 squared is 25. And there it is. That's your final answer.